Well, on to some results now from the east of the continent. Kenyan financial services firm British American reported full-year results showing a pre-tax profit of 2.8 billion shillings. This was a major recovery from the 1.7 billion shillings loss reported in the previous year. The company also reported earnings per share at 1 shilling 40. And joining me live now from Nairobi is the Group MD of Britam, Benson Wairegi. Benson, thanks so much for joining us today. Let's get into the numbers here, because as I highlighted there, you're recovering from a loss and seeming to do so well enough for quite a turnaround. What's triggered the turnaround that's come through?
Well, thank you very much. The trigger primarily was, as we have been saying, growth in the economy, resulting in tremendous growth in our core business. Our revenues grew by 24%, against a growth in expenses of 22%. But apart from the top line premium income and asset management fees, we grew our investment income by a large margin, primarily because of the improving economic and investment environment, particularly the high interest rates, which resulted in an increase in our investment income from investments in government bonds, and also the rebound in the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Of course, you've really put the emphasis on the market's performance and the fact that, because the financial markets have done well, it's boded well for your asset management and your investment income. Let's take a look at the insurance arm of your business, because that's not doing too badly either. We've had revenues higher from the sale of insurance policies. So how's business doing on that front?
Extremely well, I have to say. We grew our insurance business very rapidly. We, as you correctly put it, our performance in terms of bottom line profit of about 1.45 billion Kenya shillings. Insurance business growing very well because the penetration is low in this market. So our life business continues to do extremely well. But the best results came from our general insurance arm of the business, where we registered significant improvement in underwriting results, which was also aided by growth in investment income. So both lines of business, life, pensions, general insurance, performed extremely well. And we are very optimistic about this business. How
much of an education has needed to happen, Benson, in terms of insurance products and getting them out there in the markets? Because, for a while we've been talking about the lack of importance, that's being given to insurance products by African consumers in general.
A lot of education is needed, and a lot of education is happening, but it takes a long time because we've been able to create the necessary awareness, but it's a long-term effort, and not a single or no single company can do this. The Association of Kenyan Insurers themselves, which is the industry lobby, is doing a lot in educating the Kenyan consumer. The Insurance Regulatory Authority, which is the body that regulates the industry, is also investing a lot of money in educating the Kenyan consumer. But it is not a short-term game. It's a long-term game. With the emerging middle class and growing middle class, we expect to see an uptake in insurance and increase the penetration ratio to a higher level than the 3.1% that we currently have. But this is a long-term campaign, and already the industry, individual companies, and the government through the Insurance Regulatory Authority is doing a lot to educate the Kenyan consumer.
While that kind of growth is happening in Kenya, you're not just doing it in Kenya. So talk us through the regional expansion that the company's seen and where you're moving to from here on out.
Thank you. You remember we listed our company in 2011, specifically September, and we indicated that the funds we are raising were generally intended for penetration of the Kenyan market, but also regional expansion. So we've been able to open operations in Uganda, South Sudan in the last 2 months, and we are looking to open operations in Rwanda before the end of June, and generally moving to the rest of East Africa after that. So our campaign for regional expansion is developing and increasing at a very favorable pace. Of course, penetration ratio for insurance in those markets is low, but that's where we see an opportunity, and we will continue the journey and the strategies that we've employed in Kenya to ensure that our products are accessible to the citizens of these other East African countries.
So opportunity from a geographic perspective, but also when it comes to the kind of product offering that you're putting out there. Talk us through this new strategy you're embarking on. You're in the process of setting up a 10 billion shilling property fund, and that adding to your product offerings right now.
We have said that we have generally seen as an insurance company, but the true reality is that we are a financial services group with interests in insurance, asset management, property development, banking, and private equity. We've done very well in insurance, we've done very well in asset management, and we will continue to do well, but we have diversified into property. And property is in several categories. One, direct property development. We are already in the process of developing an iconic building in Upper Hill area of Nairobi, which will be one of the biggest property or office complex developments in Nairobi. But then there are other initiatives in the area of property, specifically the one you mentioned, a 10 billion sharing property fund. This is a new area, but we think given the prospects and the profitability and the opportunities in property, we think if we can partner with other parties who are interested in property development through a property fund, we will be able to deliver on our property initiatives. Where we are at this point is where we have already identified the fund itself, the registration as an offshore fund, and we are now looking to preparing the prospectus in order to invite the sovereign fund investors to participate in these very exciting initiatives with us. Well, but it's a long shot in terms of the distance we have to travel, but we are there. We are going there.